The worst fate is feeling like you've been always dieting, but you're still in this place where you're trying to find the next best thing because you haven't seen results for it. Like, there's nothing worse. There's nothing more draining than feeling like you're getting by, hardly eating anything. Like, wouldn't you want to just crave something? Wouldn't you just want to fit something in your mouth if you're at that level of deprivation? It, like, unless like there comes a point where okay, you have an end date for a diet. Come into it as well, mate. Like trying to get him to talk. He's the one that did the diet, not me. He's the one that suffered it, not me. But I see this over and over again where people are just so drained, they're so exhausted, they're unable. It We are in a place where it is actually the discipline. The whole chat GPT thing, oh, it's not a lack of discipline. It's not that you're broken. Well, actually, yeah, it is the discipline, but there is a reason why you can't like exhibit discipline, and that's because you've already drained the battery that's there. You've drained the willpower, you've drained the discipline because you've been trying to diet for so long, you've been trying to lose weight for so long. You can only say no to the chocolate in the fridge for so long. You can only say no to that delicious smell of fries. There is no, and then people feel like this is where, if you listen to my podcast on 1600 calories is not your maintenance, you will know this very well because 1600 calories is not your maintenance, and you will never see the results you want in your body if you keep trying to lose fat and diet, and build muscle at the same time. You can't do both. You literally cannot unless you're just starting out. But even then, you are actually primed when you're starting out to build the most muscle that you can. So why would you put yourself into a detrimental state when you can actually build yourself up now for later? Uh, that there's I think I spoke about this on the last podcast with Adam actually. Yeah, I did. Where they saw their future selves as a completely different person, as a stranger. We can't relate to our future selves, so we make decisions for our now self that cause us detriment later. And that's exactly what you're doing every single time that you bypass a, a decision that's going to lead to the goal body that you want in the long term because you're so uncomfortable with the now, which I actually think comes a lot to how people are scared to be perceived. Like they don't want to look fat or they don't want this, or what are they going to think about? You said this the other day when we were walking, where people are so easy to like give you comments when you're losing weight, whatever, but then there's nothing else. What did you say about that?
Oh, it's just so that people are quite more than willing to say something. Oh, you look better. You've lost weight. But if you put on 3 or 4 kilos, no one says anything.
Mm.
It might be healthy kilos, but no one says anything.
And if they do say anything, it's critique at the Christmas table.
Mm.
I remember I had a client that was so scared to stop her habits because every single Christmas she would get criticized or people would comment on her body. And it's like, well, I can't let myself go. So, in wanting to not let herself go, she kept sabotaging herself, keeping herself from losing the weight she wanted to lose. And she had substantial weight to lose. But if what you're doing isn't working, then it kind of makes sense to change. And it's going to be contradictory to what you think to be true because what you think to be true is what got you stuck in that pickle to start with. And like, as I was saying, the worst fate is to be in a place where you're not seeing results and you're putting in all of the effort because that is exhausting. That is you end up believing that you're doing absolutely everything right and you could be doing everything right when you're focused. But wouldn't it be empowering to be able to say no to something, to be able to feel in control, like you can get results? Like I had this, one of my girls actually said to me that she now understands why people find it so difficult to track their food and why they don't want to track their food because she's out for a weekend. It's Thanksgiving. They're eating out for lunch and dinner for both days. And it is going to be difficult to log those meals because you don't know what's in it. But every single choice you make has a trade-off. And if you don't know how to navigate those events and you want to go for the dessert, it's not a special event if it's every weekend. It's not a special event if every single time you go out, you say, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to eat whatever the hell I want. I'm not going to track anything. I'm not going to account for this. I'm just going to turn a blind eye to the fact that I'm eating out because I can't be perfect. I can't log it to the T. I don't know what's in it. But I made the challenge for her to actually log all of her foods, whether it's imperfect or not, because you're not going to learn if you don't put yourself through those process steps. And I was, okay, I like reading. I decided to read a book on relationships. And it's kind of funny how much all of it ties into this in that sense. Because when you're going through something that's meant to be like a marriage, which is you with your nutrition, you with a fitness lifestyle that wants to be there, you can go for the easy route. Yes, like the hookups, the this, the that, the diet to diet to diet. Or you can learn how to work through these because happy fairy tale endings. There is no happy fairy tale partnership where everything is all fine and dandy with roses and blossoms and this, that, and the other. There's going to be stuff that you need to have that, like, okay, we need to actually work through this to grow through this to get to the other side. And through that, you learn relationships, all that kind of stuff, like something that you want to last. It's about growing, it's about learning, it's about evolving together. You and your nutrition is about evolving together. You learn it through, okay, well, this is a hiccup. I don't know, I don't understand how to track this. Okay, well, this is a signal. Hi, this is something to look at. Is this worth you looking at? If it's not, then cool. Break up with the fairy tale, not really a fairy tale ending, but break up with it then and continue on your cycle. Go on, continue on your cycle. Continue struggling and then blaming your metabolism. But like it's the hard old truth because you are not going to see the results you want. And why do you want to even blame your like do you enjoy thinking that your body is broken? Do you enjoy thinking that your metabolism is broken, that you're never going to get results? Or do you actually want to make the change? Because it does not have to be that hard. It's just that you need to accept that it is going to be hard before it's easy. Anything is hard before it's easy. Do you not remember your first day in college? Do you not remember your first day at your first job? Do you not remember your first day on a two-wheeled bike? How about your first day driving? I don't know what it's like in America, but you're not allowed to get on the road unless you've done however many hours with someone in the other seat so that you actually learn things. So you actually learn how to the rules of the road. If you can learn this, this is what the Ruby Recomp method is all about. And I think that's actually something really powerful to talk about. We were going to talk about eating out and navigating that because that is part of this as well. And that's what I just mentioned. But that's what the first stage of the Ruby Recomp method is. It's learning these stages that make fat loss smooth, effortless, and almost like the fat's melting off. Because it's a lie when people say that if you cut your calories drastically to 1200, you're going to break it, well, not break your metabolism, but you're going to have to adapt and then you're going to have to do something extra and do more work and cut your calories more. That's a myth. If you cut your calories to 1200, you will keep losing fat until you decide to start eating more. So if you've stopped losing fat on 1200 calories, that is not your metabolism. That is not the fact that you've metabolically adapted. That is just that you are not sticking to the 1200 calories because who in their right mind can stick to 1200 calories every single day? I'm including weekends. I'm including that night out with your husband. I'm including that ice cream with your kid. I'm including the plate that you probably licked because you were so hungry. That wasn't even yours. And the peanut butter, like that shit adds up. If you're a small female, that peanut butter spoon adds up because you don't have a lot of calories to play with. And you don't diet the same as men. Men can have like 3,000 calories as an example. If they were to do a 10% deficit, maths guy, what's a 10% deficit of 3,000?
2,700.
That. They'll be 2,700. And if it was a 20% deficit,
20,
2,400 will be the guy's thing. What would 20% deficit of 1,800 be?
1440.
1440, 2,700. 1440, 2,700. The same deficit. If you stick to it, you will lose the same rate of weight loss. But which one's going to be easier to stick to? And it's not even just about the calories here anymore. Your metabolism is going to not be as optimal because you're not. What nutrition can you fit into 1440 calories, especially if your discretionary calories take up the majority of it, which is something that we were actually saying then. Like 80-20 is bullshit. It should be 90-10 or 95-15, especially if you're over the age of 35, because your body just does not work with the foods the same way anymore. Like you need the fiber, you need the whole foods. And I don't, you probably didn't listen to this on another podcast, but I had a PhD in gut health illness, a PhD who studied all of this stuff, who herself said that you can burn even up to 400, 300 was the average, something around there, calories more in a day by eating whole, unprocessed foods compared to a typical Western diet. And they measured that because there was a lot more energy excreted in the poo samples as well. Because your body needs to work harder to burn that, break it apart, digest it, but also it is doing something for your body. And I would argue that it would burn even more because what is that food doing? We don't just eat food. Calorie deficit, like fat loss isn't about the calories you eat. It's about the calories you eat, how your body uses them, processes them, and then what you're able to do in your day from that. Because that's the calories out portion. If you're able to train harder, this guy was doing 80, 90%, and it felt like he was just about to sleep. He was napping throughout most of it, pretty much sleeping on my shoulder. Like he was brain dead. That that is less energy being burnt. That is less muscle being maintained, less muscle being built. That's why people lose muscle in deficits because there are so many, especially if it's deep, especially if it goes for a long period of time. You can either go deep or you can go long. And that did not sound right, but it's okay. I never mentioned eggplants. I'm sorry, I just did. But that you, you need to set yourself up for success because it's going to give you a lot more confidence if you can stack the wins. And I actually think this is a really good place to talk about that voice message that I showed you because we're so used to chasing surface level wins, wins that are visible. We're not used to like being okay with other wins that aren't our body changing dramatically. But how are you going to keep doing what you're doing? Your legs are only going to change so much that's notable, and then it just looks the same all the time. I don't, have I ever complained to you about looking the same all the time or my body's never changing? I don't know. I don't know whether I complained to him about that, but that's what goes through my head half the time. Like my body never changes. What the hell? My body's not changing. Actually, no. What I do say I'm small. I need to build more. What else do I say?
Yeah, that's a common one.
I complain about how small I am and I want to build. And that like how hard do I train?
Oh yeah, hard. Proper hard.
I train to get bulky and I'm struggling to get bulky. It's not the training, it's everything combined. And this guy here, even him, he complains about how small his legs are. Guy with testosterone, you're not going to get bulky. It's how all of this, how are you going to maintain the muscle that you have and build the shape that you want if you haven't built up that training capacity? And why would you want to not maximize that before you put yourself into a deficit so it is that much easier? But what do you have to say about that voice message you listened to? Because you've been training for the same amount of time that I did. You started training 2014, I started training 2015. Like, yeah, we can chase the accolades and we can chase the dangling carrot. I'm sorry, I'm going to say Martha's name on this too. And then Martha herself said that when there's a goal, it's easier for you to work towards that. And that's the thing, like, it's easy to work towards a goal, but then as soon as there's no goal there, which is something Adam said on the last podcast too, that's when people that have been so strict, like bodybuilders, completely blow it. But we're not talking about bodybuilders, we're talking about you. And I know a couple of my clients that have been with me for a couple of years. When they came to me, that was their own history of it. They struggled for quite a while, like over a year with me, trying to keep them in maintenance because they kept letting in licks and bites and tastes and chews, and they found it so difficult for them to just have some sort of structure with their food because they weren't in a diet. It's kind of sad that that's the only thing that we seem to have as a worthy enough goal, like fat loss. It's like the default. Like, I need to lose fat. Oh, summer's coming. I need to lose fat. Oh, I need to fit into my wedding dress. Oh, fit. Hmm, hmm. Like, you can have the best body, but you can still not be confident in it. Like, I had a client who had, she was training for ages, but she would never get undressed in the bedroom in front of her husband. Yet she was a banging, like she had muscle there. Like she was fit, but she did not see it. This is so much more than body as well, because as soon as your body becomes a prime focus, it's never going to be good enough. If that is all you can validate yourself with, when is it ever enough? How are you going to enjoy anything? I want you to ramble on about it. Because we've been doing this for ages. Even ask me questions because I think this is really helpful for people because it's it's the reality. Like we've been doing this for years.
That's something we always say in the gym is that we're never happy. It doesn't matter what happens, we're never happy.
We're
We
always
always
going,
want something. We
yeah,
always want less fat, more muscle, better abs, something.
it's always going to be that. But is it coming from an empowering place or coming from a place where, oh, I'm having my period. I feel like the world is coming against me. My body looks shit. I'm fluffy. I'm watery. I'm a big heifer. I'm not making any progress. This isn't working anymore. And then you let that spiral you. And then that could lead to habits that actually make your body composition worse.
But even the most elite athletes, the most elite bodybuilders, they always doubt themselves. Always like thinking that they're too fat,
Yeah. And that,
holding too much water,
mm. So that's some
not big enough.
perspective. That's some perspective for you because loving your body or accepting your body or body image, this isn't about body positivity or I have all of this excess fat. I should love myself regardless. No, I think that's absolutely bullshit. It is body image fluidity, where, okay, you can have these thoughts, but you don't let them derail you. You just acknowledge them. But, like, what if your only means of feeling like you're progressing is seeing your body change or noticing physical changes? How are you ever going to expect to get there? Because that means you're either going to be in a diet phase or bulking, which most of you don't want to do this bulking phase. And bulking isn't even something that's going to be conducive for the most of you. You want to build. Building is different, it's structured, it's not blowing yourself out. And if you're in maintenance, if you're trying to recover from chronic dieting, you're not going to see the changes you expect to see overnight. And the longer that you do this, I have a whole podcast on this, the reality of progress. Progress usually starts really pretty slow to the point where you hardly notice it because you're still figuring shit out. Things are still crackling on in the background. And then it starts to increase quite a lot, but then it starts to plateau. And the same goes with your lifts. Like you don't increase your lifts every week.
You can't.
Talk to me more about that because it's kind of the same thing because people are always expecting to see this visual, this this dopamine, this validation that something's working. We need to talk about that, like either physically or numbers in the gym. But the longer that you do it for, like that's just gonna sabotage you.
The longer you go, the less likely you can make any change.
Talk about it. Like how can we get people like if this was a conversation with Martha as an example too, it's just like if you always need to have something there for you to stay motivated or always have to see your body changing in some way for you to stay the course or for you to feel like it's working and not sabotage yourself. Like, what do you have to say about that? Like, I feel like this is where everyone gets stuck. That
But
you do because you've been doing this for ages. What keeps you doing it?
me,
Yeah.
I love going to the gym.
Did you always love going to the gym?
Yeah.
What part of it? Why?
I like the social part. I like feeling strong.
But if you contrast that, if you contrast that to what it was like when you were dieted down, it's a completely different feeling there.
It was different when there was a goal. It was actually worse when there was a goal. I didn't enjoy the gym at all.
It's fun. It's funny that he actually says that because that's what stopped me competing. I don't do well under pressure. I'm not someone that likes having pressure there. So the pressure of me to hit particular numbers in the end and compare myself, well, it worked for me to start with, but that came out of fear of if I don't have this goal, that I'm going to let myself go. I'm going to get lazy. I'm going to get fat, etc. But then as I moved into the powerlifting space, it became more of a I I wasn't enjoying my training because I always felt like I had to live up to this standard. And because I was always chasing this thing, which is pretty much where a lot of you guys actually find yourself. That's a good point. Yes, there. That's that is a good point because if you're going to keep focusing on seeing results, on seeing numbers going up, if that is your only way of anything, you're not going to enjoy the process because you're not being in your body, you're not being in your feels, you're not in the moment tuning into, okay, well, this actually, like, you know what I love about the gym? I love proving that I can. On that pendulum squat, no, it was on the leg extensions. I actually cried and you just looked at me. What did you
Very
say?
emotional.
Yeah, that's what he said. I cried on the leg extension. I'm struggling with that. Like I struggle to push myself on that thing. And when I fail myself, quote unquote, which is me not getting the reps that I intended to get, or me feeling like I pussied out and cut my potential on it short, I I literally just feel like that's my emotion. Like it happens sometimes. And the same happens on the pendulum. I had another little cry on the pendulum. And then there was a time that I had a huge hissy fit because I wanted his help and he walked off into the other room. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck you then. Like, I just gave up on that thing. Like, I just did a little couple of reps. I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm not doing it anymore. You walked off. So, whatever. I got over it by the next couple of exercises because that's the thing, like it's life. You're not going to win every single one and you don't make or break your results in one session, but if you make every session mean so much in the grand scheme of things, instead of just seeing it like in my podcast with Kim, who's my client, something that I forgot I always used to say is everything is a brick. You showing up as a brick, you're just laying bricks. You not showing up the same way, you might lay half a brick and then lay the other half later, or you might just not lay a brick at all, but it doesn't take away from the bricks you've already laid. Not unless you've stopped laying the bricks for so long and then a storm comes and then bada ba, Bob's not your uncle anymore. Like, what we want to do is set you up for 2026, which I think is something worth talking about. We want to set you up for 2026 with the ability to actually drop the fat if you have fat to lose, or set yourself up so that your body composition actually does change, your body actually does respond. And that's the go. Like if you have yourself in a place where you can put yourself into a fat loss phase, where you can get that body, where you can get the results that lead to that tight toned look, which means that you've already done the work and it's not going to be this struggle. And this applies to everyone, whether you're 30, whether you're 25, whether you're 50 or 55 or 45, all the ages in between. It's going to work for you. You just need to put in the steps before it to make it happen. The more that you keep trying to skip those steps, the more that you're going to sabotage, the more that you're going to struggle. So we're going to set you up for 2026. We're going to lay out a plan to get you ready there. And if there's anything else that you guys want us to talk about, we will. But I do feel like this has been the most important part of it because there's, I'm going to end this the same way that I started it. There is nothing worse than putting in so much effort and not seeing anything for it, than burning yourself out, and then thinking that there is something wrong with you, that it is your metabolism, and falling for all the bullshit that's out there, like freaking, oh, carbs, that your muscle just doesn't, whatever the hell Gab Lyon said. Like, come on, that's bullshit. Or just believing, like, it's so easy to believe anything out there to be true, especially when you're struggling. And one of my greatest loves in coaching is to have clients send me things saying how bullshit they are because now they actually see through it. And I want you to see through it too. I don't want you to fall for this shit. So I love you all. I hope this helped. And you will hear me on the next podcast and we will be better prepared. And I'll make this one talk a little more, but it is later than it was intended to be. And we got a sunset to go see. So, mwah.